we're at the point where we can begin this meeting. It's 4 o'clock, and today is April 21. It's the library, Lincoln Parish Library Board of Control meeting, called to order. May I have a motion for the approval of the minutes? Approval of the agenda. I got the minutes on my mind.
I'll move to approve the agenda. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Any discussions, any questions, any changes? If not, all in favor, by their ayes.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay, next item on the agenda, public comments. Do we have anyone who wants to make a comment for the public? Seeing no comments? This is the first time I've ever seen the public very, very thin today. Okay, well, why don't we move down to item number 4 on the agenda, the approval of the minutes. We have 4 sets of minutes, and I was just sharing with both Amy and Marcy to thank them for the job that they have done in pulling us together with some of the minutes from previous meetings. And I would ask, if you don't mind, if anyone has any changes to make to any of the minutes, and if not, whether or not we can take them and approve them all as one. Are there any changes for the February 24? Are there changes for the March 10th? Any changes for the March 31st? And any changes for the April 8th? Hearing none, then may I have a motion to have approval of all 4 minutes?
Made.
Second, please.
Second.
Okay, move the properly second. Any discussions, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried, all the 4 minutes are approved. Okay, we come to the point now where we're going to ask Marcy, our interim director, if she could provide us with some of the statistics that we've had for both 2020 and 2019. Marcy, would you like this microphone up in here?
I can be pretty loud. What you'll find behind your minutes is a spreadsheet. This is our 2020 statistics. We just completed the report to the state library. There was a few gaps to be filled in when I got here, and we've gotten those numbers filled in. So you can see our final numbers for 2020. I'm going to make a new spreadsheet for 2021. After taking the state report this year, realizing how they're changing it on the cusp of 2020 for new things to be counted, to make sure that we're tracking things correctly. So when you get the 2021 statistics spreadsheet, it will look a little different. Some items may be separated out a little more for a little more clarification. I am still working on that. I've got to get January, February, and March completely caught up. We just got the March numbers in. And I'm kind of finessing our reporting process. But I'm hoping to have those 3 months to you by next month. What you've also got is a booklet. There's a gray booklet at the very back of your packet. It's the 2019 Annual Statistical Report from the Louisiana State Library. As you know, we give these reports at the end of, or at the beginning of our year for the previous year. They compile all of that data and give you complete spreadsheets comparing how each library functions. And it's very, very, very detailed. They just turned in the 2019 ones. As we just turned in the 2022 them, you won't get those until about this time next year. But that's there for your perusal, for your information.
Well, only because I'm nosy.
Sure.
Discards seem to jump in December.
And that's probably because toward the end of the year, after a full years of purchasing, we start seeing like the shelves getting very, very tight. And as we're shifting, that's the other thing is during holiday time, traffic tends to slow down, which means our staff has more time to get into the shelves and to amend some of that issues, reading the shelves, making sure the items are fitting properly and we're not overcrowding. And so that's probably why.
Have you looked at statistics for this year, year to date, to see how they've changed from these horrific numbers at the end of the year?
Very lightly. Your digital stuff is gonna pretty much be the same. We haven't seen much change in that. I have to look at the most recent numbers, but just from being on the floor, I feel like our visits have picked up, especially here in the past couple of weeks. As you know, the students are in testing, and so we're seeing more people coming in to utilize the Wi-Fi and things like that. But as far as programming, I'm gonna say, because this, you have to remember, this is all virtual programming. And keep in mind, in 2020, we were learning things. And so as far as programming, you're probably gonna see a slight decline, and then I hope to see a pickup as we hopefully get to the point where we're doing in-person again. So, because I'm hearing it from a lot of parents, people are screen tired. So our views fluctuate based off of what the program is and where the kids are in school and what all else they've got going on. So.
You have a good summer program planned?
I think it's a good summer program. We're doing a lot of community partnerships. You're going to be seeing a lot of new, because they're not library faces, but still familiar faces. We're doing a lot of partnerships for our story times. And because this year's theme is animals, we're reaching out to several organizations that work with animals that are in our backyard. And so we're kind of doing some educational STEAM type programming on the road.
Very
So
good.
you'll see some of that. Does anyone have any other questions on the statistics? I want to make sure I answer them all. Okay.
Didn't have any, but I was just asking, is there anything that stuck out for us in Lincoln Parish from our 2019 report that may have given us any kind of concerns or?
No, I don't think, because you're looking at 2019. 2019 was a pretty standard year. The only thing you're going to probably notice is maybe a little change in the budgeting, because we had that tornado that year, and there was some extra spending in like building grounds maintenance and things like that. But outside of that, I don't think you're going to notice anything drastic. Now, next year's report, I'm going to be interested to see how we stacked up compared to the rest of the state.
And what's our system membership for the Trailblazers and Green Gold? What is that?
So the way the state is set up is there are regions, and there are so many parishes in each region.
Okay.
We are actually, I think, the only parish in the state that qualifies for 2 regions. The Trailblazer region is 13 libraries. It includes places like Union, Ouachita, Concordia, Catahoula, Jackson, and then Green Gold is your more northwest part of the state, which is going to have Caddo, Bossier, it's going to have Wynn Parish. And so what happens is when we attend those meetings, that's where a lot of our consortium negotiations happen.
Okay.
Things like our e-resources, we get a better deal because we can go into a contract as a group. We also get access to more materials because there are more people purchasing. There's more purchasing power there. So that's the main thing that you'll find with those is we use them to levy better negotiations on those fronts. And sometimes we'll piggyback on the programming side of things too. If we can get an amazing programmer to come to us, we'll do what we call block booking across the parishes, and they will cut us down a great deal on travel expenses for those types of things. Won't see as much of that in the 2020 report again because we didn't have in-person programming as much, but
Thank you.
no problem.
Any other questions?
Not about the statistics, but while she's up, if I may.
Sure.
This convenience store that was wanting to purchase property and required a street being moved out front out here, or maybe Mr. Postel knows. I have not seen or heard anything more about that. Did that just die, or do you know?
It's done. It's done. The only thing they haven't done is started construction. But all of
The street's been moved?
No. Well, the property has been transferred. The purchase has occurred.
Okay.
Yes.
Doug, I may need you to update me on that.
Sure,
This is
yeah,
news to
no
me.
So that will start, who knows, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Have not heard anything from them lately.
Wow,
So
okay.
I don't know what their holdup is as far as starting construction.
We have any word about this vacant spot out here? This was an oil change place? What's going to happen with it?
It is for lease and possible sale.
Well, we don't have any money,
nice, and you can imagine they want a nice son for it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Okay.
Thank you, Doug.
But we love the fact that it is clear, that it looks good to our eyes.
Right.
All that is gone, not down.
At least.
Yeah,
No building materials are so expensive, that might be a delay.
that might be a delay, yeah.
Especially
Good
lumber.
point, that may affect the convenience store too. Hadn't thought about that.
Okay, thank you very much, Marcy.
No problem.
Next item on the agenda, update on the liaison committees. I would just like to preface that by saying thank you to all of you who are part of the committees. I've gotten some good reports so far. I understand that you're meeting. I know there's one that's meeting again next week. One that told me they're almost ready to give a report. So I'm interested in trying to find out what they come up with. But I'd like to hear from you on the committees that you're serving on in terms of your work with them, if you don't mind sharing, and tell me something about the one that you're part of. Don't be shy.
Well, I don't have much of a report to give you, but in marketing, I missed our initial meeting on March 31st. And then at that meeting, they set their next meeting when I had a conflict also. So I have not yet met with them, but I've seen emails from them. It looks like they're doing research about, what we are currently doing in our marketing efforts in the library and ways to improve that. So I know they're making some action, but I don't have any specifics.
I can feed in a little, because I've been
Okay, and you
involved too.
may know more than me.
Just to give you a heads up, I'm trying to be as involved in each committee. I'm only assigned to acquisitions, but there's a lot of information that the staff who are on these committees are having to come to me for anyway, because, the grand keeper of all things reports. And so I've just kind of made a point to get myself involved with each committee. So marketing is meeting next Wednesday. And they've asked me to give a report on programming and how we select programming and how we determine the longevity of a program, like when do we make the decision this is worth our time or not. And so I did programming here when I was here last time, so I volunteered to kind of give them a heads up on that, and then how we marketed then, and then how we've seen other libraries market since then, because the marketing trend has drastically changed in the last day. So we'll be talking about that specifically on Wednesday.
What time are they meeting with it? Because we have the workshop too, and that's probably all.
33.
Okay.
It's
I gotta go back to the office at some point, so I don't know that I can, but, okay, I'll try to make 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it's
We're
at
already
3.
here from 10 to 1, so
It's at 3.
10 to 12.
10 to 12, okay.
Which like I said, I will be in there. I'm happy to take notes.
Okay, thank you, Naomi, thank you. Anyone else from any of the other committees?
On the Building and Grounds Committee, we have not met again yet. However, we are working on some things as far as lowering the cost that it takes to do things to maintain the buildings and the grounds.
Very good. Either of you ladies there? Mary Jo or?
We just talked a lot about getting the millage set, and that way we can get on the ground running and trying to get people involved, knowing that is very important to get the tax passed.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to do. We're going to be reaching out to civic organizations and the colleges, and
Okay.
just trying to get everyone involved and be made aware of the tax, and hoping they will vote for it.
And we've talked to the Friends of the Library to get looped into that committee as much as possible, because they can do certain things in terms of campaigning that the library.
This is
cannot.
public relations?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, like I said, I'm very, very pleased. Did you have something to Ms.
Just with
You
the
were-
buildings grounds, and I know we've had some conversation about when our next meeting will be.
Charles, your group?
I haven't talked with Robin since our meeting,
Oh,
so I don't
okay.
have any more. And we had a good meeting, but I don't have any update.
And I know acquisitions and purchasing, because Jeremy and I were both on that committee. We explained to them the green gold trailblazer thing and how we can source and purchase, and that the reason why with acquisitions and purchasing you're seeing an upward trend is because the digital age is an expensive age. And so we're seeing things with publishers and stuff going up. But they had a few ideas in terms of price points, looking into other options, but ultimately, I think we settled on if we have more power in purchase, by working with those groups, we're better off. But there's a couple other things we were looking at too, so.
And I might add too that I did come back and talk and discuss with Marcy. We don't want these liaison committees to be overbearing for anyone. We don't want to overwork the staff, we don't want to overwork Marcy, we don't want to take anything away from the actual operation of the library. I think when we formed them, originally we said, it's not to supersede
Nope.
your job as the director. It is to be one of an advisory in nature. So while we may have a whole lot of things that we'd like to see, we still are very mindful of the fact that we're here to assist. And if somebody said not take over. So I think that's a good way in terms of clearing that up with Marcy. We mentioned that in terms of coming back for that. I know the staff is overworked right now anyway, and adding another level with them being stretched because we have had some cuts, they've had to take on some more responsibilities, and all of that can add. And we don't want to lose anyone that we have at this point.
No,
We want to keep everybody until December. Did you hear what I said, until December? That means October and November is included in that.
And I would just ask, like, since y'all are all on the committees too, just making sure, like, if y'all come up with things where they're asking the staff to do something, like I said, a lot of times they're having to come to me anyway for stuff, so like, I'm trying to be as interwoven as possible, but help me with that, to make sure those committees know that I'm an open door, my phone is always on. It's often gonna be quicker, more efficient for them to come straight to me, and then that saves the staff from having to work that into their already tight schedules over there.
And I'd like to beg a favor and ask of you. Did you have a comment, Doug?
I do, whatever you're ready.
Okay, well, I'd just like to ask of board members to consider, I think when we originally came up with our timeline about where we wanted to go with our liaison committees, remember I said it was not etched in stone or concrete. At next month's meeting, May's meeting, May 19th, I would ask that you would consider allowing us to do what we have done before, to have the board meeting starting perhaps about 3:30, and then having the liaison committee, if some of them want to report out now, to give an update as to where they are. I know we've said maybe it could have gone as far as down to June, but if some of them are ready to come back and tell us some things, I think that we would be receptive in hearing that, and also to allow you not to have to meet so often, and at the same token get basically what we need to get done. May I have some input from that on the board members?
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea, because then we won't be back and forth all the time. We already here, so why not continue?
Well, and
Okay.
some of the committee reports might get lengthy, and so if you're doing them all at once, that can make for a long night.
So what do you suggest, that we move our time or keep the time at?
No, I think 3:30 was a good enough adjustment.
Okay, so record that for, and we'll do that with the agenda that we send out for Caleb and, where's Walter? Okay, now, Doug, you had a comment?
I just wanted to say, and I told Dr. Clark this, and I told Marcia this, but I want the whole board to know, I was just incredibly impressed with the initial liaison committee meeting when it occurred. I thought the staff and those who were involved in the sit-up did an incredible job with the displays, the way the room was arranged, the way that people were handled with coming and registering. I thought it was well organized, and I thought it just reflected very, very well on the library as a whole to the members of the community that were coming in. And I just wanted to publicly tell you what a great job I think that everyone did in that process. I think it was a big thumbs up for everyone involved.
Thank you very much, Doug. It was good to hear that, because I think I mentioned too, Marcy, the staff really put in some work. You know, we came up over the weekend and we had some extra added momentum for that, so it worked out well, and we're saying that everything that we're going to do from this point on, we hope that will also reflect what we're trying to do in the library. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate your comment. I'll let them know that you said that too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, anything else on the liaison committees before we move on? Okay, for item number 7, trustees workshop, we're meeting somewhat, April 28th. Rebecca, what's Rebecca's last name? I can't,
Hamilton? Are you talking about Rebecca Hamilton or, oh
oh
gosh.
God. She's coming from the state, okay, and she's been in contact with me. And we're gonna go from 10 to 12. From 10 to 12. For the Board of Trustees, okay, we've opened it up. Doug, question. If you think that they're interested in coming from the police jury, would you take a survey and let us know so that we can also share that number with her?
Yeah, we'll make
In
sure we're
terms
set
of
up.
saying, we'd love to have you, you know, even, like I said, those who have served on the library before as a member, if they want to come back and hear what the roles and responsibilities would be, we certainly would like to have them as well. But we do look forward to her, and some things that we know and some things that we don't know.
Well,
It
some
may
things
help
have
us.
changed.
Huh?
Some things have changed.
Yes, yes, so knowledge is powerful. And if it's that powerful, let's get us with the sledgehammer, okay? April 28th from 10 to 12. Okay, item number 8, discuss and adopt updates to the event center and the study room policy. You're on, Marcy.
All right, I'm gonna get the mic on this one because it's gonna be
Okay.
a lot of talking. I wanna make sure you can hear me perfectly clear.
It seems pretty clear cut.
Oh, I know, but this is policy and I wanna make sure you know what I put in there. There ain't gonna be no backtracking later on.
I like the security guard.
I've done this a couple times. All right, so what you have is your packet to the left is the original policies as they currently stand. What you have to the right with the red writing is our adjustments that we're proposing today.
Okay.
So, yes, I'm on. Okay. So what we're looking at today are 2 key policies. They are the event center policy and the study room policy. It is in the library's interest to open these back up to public use as safely as possible. So we're starting with the event center policy. You're going to be focusing on the items in red. These are the additions or the changes. You'll notice at the top of the new packet, it states that we ask that you please read these policies completely as some changes have been made per the guidelines set forth by the state of Louisiana in proclamation number 158. That's the most recent proclamation set forth by the governor's office. Okay? If you look further down on page 1, one of the things that the event center had previously was an event center coordinator. We no longer have that position. So you will see it now says library director. This will be my baby. If things are going to get booked over here, they're going to go through me. So I'm keeper of keys right now. That may change as things pick up, but for right now, I'm tackling it myself.
Okay.
If you flip to page 2, which is the back of page 1, again, we state per the guidelines set forth in that proclamation, all events will be required to operate at 50% capacity and may not exceed a total occupancy of 250 people. This is straight from the proclamation. In the numbers that follow, each of the rooms are listed, and those numbers in red are half, they're 50% of the occupancy for each room. Okay? Further down, you're going to see, because previously security was an optional fee. I am bare bones staff right now. I don't have the manpower to sit over here for 8 hours for an event. So I am asking that until phase 4, we make security a requirement. It's for multiple reasons. It's to make sure that the events do not go over that capacity, to make sure the mask mandate is being followed, and so that my staff can continue to do their job on the other side of the building. After we hit phase 4, we can bring this back to the drawing board. Security fee as set right now, they book it through us, is $30 per officer. So I don't see that changing. I can't see that being any different, and we will call and set up for that when they book the facility. All right, page 3. Again, I've removed event center coordinator, and it says submitted to and approved by library director. This is the application process. At the bottom of page 3, under publicity, again, you will see library director mentioned twice because I removed the event center coordinator. I'm putting myself there. On page 4, it gets more colorful. Again, anywhere you see library director, I'm replacing the event center coordinator. And then it's a little piece about security as well. It just states that again, until we enter phase 4, we're going to require security to be a presence. Further down, again, event center coordinator has been replaced with library director. And then we get into the more specifics. Now, this is what I am proposing. I can't be over here every day until 11 o'clock at night and be expected to show up at work at 7:30 in the morning. I mean, I can do it, but I ain't gonna be a happy camper. So, I am proposing that until phase 4, all rental events should be held Monday through Saturday. No rental events booked on Sunday. We're only open for 4 hours over there anyway. It's kind of an odd day for us. And in order to allow for proper sanitation between bookings, because me and my sanitation crew over there's no crew over here, it's the same crew, are gonna have to come over here and clean things up. I'm asking that we only do 1 rental event per day. Now that's not to say that if the library has a board meeting, we can be over there at 4 o'clock, that I can't rent this part out at 10 o'clock in the morning. But for the sake of knowing that this room is properly cleaned, sanitized between groups, and there's been enough quarantine time, I'm asking that we only do 1 paid rental a day, 6 days a week. That's what I'm asking for. I'm also asking that we pull back our hours a little bit for a little while. Previously, the policy read 10 p.m. and that they must be out no later than 11 p.m. I've worked some of those nights, y'all. It's hard. So I'm asking that 8 p.m. be the end of their event. They need to be out of here, caterers and everything, by 9 p.m. so that I can get this place shut down and I can go home and then be back for work in the morning. So those are the big changes. All right, after that, we come back to the guidelines set forth in the proclamation. Section 3, this is the mask mandate. I put it in there. It states exactly word for word what's in the proclamation. Just to make sure we're clear on that. And that applies to both sides of the building, but I wanted to make sure it was in this policy. And those are all the changes I have for the event center side. Are there questions?
Did you make any changes to the form?
The form, I haven't changed the form. The form is the same thing.
It's the same?
Yeah,
It was
it's
not-
because we require the same information
Oh, okay.
in order for them to book.
So they are required to sign this form acknowledging that they've read these?
And the way I'm working it right now is because they're going through me. Previously, our event center coordinator would come over here, show them the facility, walk through the policies with them, and they would sign off on it. And at that point, it would come to the director for approval for the official booking. I'm kind of cutting that short. It's going to be me coming over here, walking through with people, getting the form filled out, and making sure they understand these policies. I have a running calendar right now with things that are booked up that I know we have on the calendar, like our board meeting, the police jury's meeting. So I'm keeping that calendar as well. I've shared it with my managers, but I'm the keeper of the calendar.
Okay.
I really have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
You had said the police officer $30. I think they.
That's the way it's listed in our fee schedule right now. It was an additional $30 fee. Now, I don't know I don't know why it was set at $30. I was not part of that process, but that is what is currently in our fee schedule. I did not change any prices on anything.
Okay.
Who's security?
We usually book through the sheriff's department.
Be $30 an hour.
$30 an hour? Okay.
Yeah.
I would
I
think so.
thought,
Well, and then
okay.
Not just on one time.
there's a fee schedule that's attached
And it may
to
be
our
30.
chart.
It may be 35. If we need help to get that information. we'll let you
Okay,
know.
thank you.
Yeah, okay. That was
Any
it.
other questions?
We're fine with the event
Okay.
center.
All right, the second set you have is our study room use. You're gonna see a lot of the exact same verbiage. Stating the proclamation, gives you the proclamation number. Per those guidelines, 50% capacity. I removed the piece about 250 because in a study room, you're never gonna go to 250.
Review the piece about what now?
I removed the piece about 250 maximum occupancy because in a study room, that's never gonna be the case.
Oh, okay,
So it just says 50% capacity.
okay.
And down there, it tells you how many rooms we have and how many they seat. Now, previously, there were 2 rooms that seated 6 people, those will now hold 3. And then another 3, including the one in the children's area that previously would hold 4, those now hold a maximum of 2 for that 50%. So that's all, that's pretty much all that's changed on the first page. The guidelines still remain the same for booking those rooms. On the back of that first page, on page 2, you look at the bottom, there are 3 conference rooms. And those are unique because they fall under 2 policies. They fall under this policy because they are intended to be overflow if all of the study rooms are booked and they are not booked. They also apparently fall under our meeting room use policy, which right now the main meeting room that holds the kitchenette is our community room, and it is not available because we're using it for quarantine. And it's slammed full of books right now.
Quarantine, of like the
Yeah,
books when
books
they
here
come
as
back,
they come
okay,
in,
yeah.
yes. So,
I'm thinking you got people in there, I'm like,
no.
can they go home?
No, we're not doing that. We're dedicated to our jobs, but I don't think we want to sleep here. Although some people might, who knows? Well, anyway, so in that last section on the second page, you will see that there were ranges set in our previous policy. So I stuck to the range format because it was in our policy. And I went to 50% there. So you're seeing 2 to 3, 5 to 6, or 7 to 8 people in those rooms. Now, I'm going to say this. The meeting room policy needs to be revisited as a whole. And while we're not opening up the community room, I think it's a good time for us to look at that. Because and this is not just my feedback, it's come from the staff as well as far as functionality. And they know because they're the ones booking these things and dealing with it. Rather than having these conference rooms fall under 2 policies, they need their own policy so it's cut and dry. So for now, we're using them as overflow for the study rooms when we reopen the study rooms. But I would like us to come back to the board on those policies as a whole to use them as meeting space. But while they're at 50% capacity, they really don't function very well for a conference because the maximum you can hold is 8 people. So they're probably going to get used a lot for study rooms for tutors who are dealing with multiple kids at one time.
So you're talking about the two that are in the back of the long?
There's 3. There's the
3,
Sibley room,
1,
the
2.
Vienna room, and the Highco room.
Okay,
Yes, there's 3. So,
okay, one that's adjacent to the
Genealogy,
genealogy, okay,
those ones in that back corner, those are the big conference rooms. The
okay,
study rooms are to the front, and there is one in the children's area. And then there's the community room at the front.
okay.
So those are the 3 different types of facilities we deal with on that side, and they all have different functionality. But the meeting room policy is not here right now because, like I said, we can't even open the community room right now. So we're going to handle the other 3 rooms through the study room policy, which is this function right
So
here.
are you saying also that the community room will be revisited too when they?
When we look at the
Find
meeting room
someplace to
policies,
put.
we do need to look at that
Okay,
policy.
all right.
But it can't be opened right now, so we have some time. And then again, on the third page, at the very bottom, we've added 2 bullets in there. I wanted to make sure we were clear on the fact that in between bookings of these study rooms, that there needs to be adequate time for the staff to not only sanitize the keys and the markers and the erasers that they get back, but actually go sanitize the room. So I wanted to make sure there was verbiage in here, so if there are people who are waiting immediately, as soon as someone comes out to go in, they can't just go in. When they book, we need to go in there, wipe it down, and then we can check it out to you. So give us a little bit of time. I just wanted to make sure there was there to protect my staff. And then the other thing is, of course, the mandate for the mask. I put the verbiage in there because it is still inside a public space, so we're putting it on there to protect ourselves.
Just so my understanding, The conference rooms that are indicated here, those are the meeting rooms that you're calling, or you're identifying
Yeah,
as meeting,
they
right?
they are called conference rooms, but they are covered under the meeting room use policy. So
Okay,
we need to trim things up a little bit,
gotcha.
make it a little more uniform.
Is the community room is not Heiko, Sibley? or
No,
Vienna?
it is
It's
the
different.
the
Okay.
community room, as its name.
That's the one by the book.
No, that's the one right there where the
Books,
friends
where you
alcove
can buy the
is.
books
Yeah,
at.
Gotcha.
yeah. And that's where the quarantine materials are right now.
And I guess my question, a little bit on that, would be, how soon do you think we'll be able to find
They
another
just-
spot for the books to be quarantined?
The
So that
CDC has just accepted research that says that the chances of you contacting the virus through touching an item are very, very low. However, I'm watching library trends, and I'm going to follow what ALA and LLA and the state library recommend. And right now, they are not pulling any triggers on that. I think they want to see other entities take that research into advisement, put it into practice, and see how it goes. Also, please remember, we're coming upon summer, and we're hoping, or we believe, we will see a large influx of materials in and out, and I don't think now is the time to take that risk. After summer, I think would be wiser. That is just my personal recommendation.
Okay. Okay.
So we have a community room,
Yep,
we have study rooms,
yep,
and we have
3 conference rooms.
conference rooms.
And then we have this event center,
Okay.
and all of its breakdown, yes. It's a lot to clean. So if y'all see our maintenance, people make sure you give them an elbow tap or something, because they're already working very hard, and it's about to get even more, so. I'll be scrubbing too, trust me.
So anytime this proclamation gets updated, are we gotta go and change this policy with the new number and the new references?
Well, I'm gonna,
Because, they may just renew it, it expires after so long,
Yeah.
so then we're gonna be back again, and you may get in a situation where we don't meet to approve the new policy, and you've got the old one referenced. I mean, maybe
Well,
we
the
should put some language to
and we
suggest.
can add, and that's a good point. I mean, we
We
can
can
add
get you
some
started
language in
with
there.
this,
Yeah.
but we need to
That's
add
my
some
main
language.
thing, is getting us there, and then making sure that the public understands why these changes have been made. Because if we don't change the policy, they're gonna expect it to open back up as is, and we cannot do that. We'll get ourselves shut down. So,
And I don't, I totally understand and appreciate what you're saying on the, needing to end events by 8, everybody be out by 9, because, you need that time, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I think that if we approve this, I want it to be that we want to extend that as soon as we're able to. So
no,
we
no,
have
I
enough
agree
people,
with that, yeah.
That's certainly something that I want the public to know is not a permanent restriction.
No.
That's just gonna be a temporary measure, because I want people to feel like
Right.
they can have a wedding or something here, that where
Right.
people aren't need to be here a little
Well,
bit.
and please keep in mind too, that as far as I know, we're the only entity in the parish, I think, that's looking at opening up a rentable
Yes.
facility.
Yeah.
The convention center has said they're not doing
Yeah.
anything until phase 4.
Okay,
And then the Norton building, the
Yes.
historic fire,
Oh,
they're too small
yeah.
logically to hold a big enough event to be worth renting out. So this is it, if we open up now. So we're gonna be the parish guinea pig at this point.
Well, I agree with David, because when I saw down here, inches until we enter phase 4, and then what after phase 4?
And most of your entities are basically saying, until phase 4, we're not touching anything. Everybody's scared to be the first one to, so, I mean, that's something you guys need to keep in mind, like, I think that when we hit phase 4, it's a good drawing point for us to revisit these things, because these can't necessarily stay in place in order, if we go back to normal tomorrow, we're gonna have to look at these again. It's just like anything in government, it changes by the minute.
So Amy, are you suggesting that we put a little notation in here somewhere about that when the changes are made at that level, that we will come back, or do we just leave it and do it when it happens?
I think I think we can leave it like it is now. We can approve it like this, but I want to visit the idea of putting something in there to suggest, okay, especially on the proclamation, that it's gonna be, if there's a new one, it's gonna be that one,
Yeah.
or whatever. And then on the phase 4 and the opening times, I think that's tough though to say the day we go into phase 4, we can keep it open till 10, because we may not have the staff to do that then.
Right.
So, I don't know, that might be tough to put in there as a, okay, and.
Well, I mean,
right,
I
change.
can slice that out, and we can just say, well, for now, this is the policy.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a pushback on the time,
Mhm.
like you say, with weddings,
Yeah.
particularly summertime weddings.
I mean, could people apply for an exception or something?
They can, but
Well,
I
we're
might
getting
be calling
into
y'all
something
from work.
else.
We don't,
Yeah.
we don't
We
stay,
want that one, Ed.
Okay,
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I know, but,
Everything will get exception.
especially, people that are planning, I'm thinking people that are planning events further ahead, and they're kind of like, maybe we'll be in phase 4, maybe we,
Oh, no, I understand, because I have people calling for August right now, and I'm having to tell them, I won't know till we get there. I mean, that's the world we're in right now, is we won't know till we get there.
Just how about, if you feel like you're seeing a lot of people not renting because of the time thing, let us know,
Yeah, we'll
because we
revisit
need
it.
to revisit that.
Okay.
Because we need to find somebody, and we need to get another staff member or get some help, because if that's the reason people aren't renting, then I want to address it and I want to make it later, and we'll get you some help.
there's a lot of things in here that are subject to
Mm-hmm.
the library director. Why wouldn't the director have an authority stated in here to make exceptions?
Yeah.
Would you want
Let
that, or is that
me-
too loose? That loosey-goosey?
I would even, if I may, I would even suggest, even if it takes raising the rates,
Mm-hmm.
so that you could take that extra income and pay someone to come and stay,
Mm-hmm.
so that the current staff didn't have to stay late into the night. That may be something to just consider.
I had one other question. The security guard will be hired by the library?
Yeah, that.
Do we have a source like Pinkerton or what? Or is it just an individual?
We go through the sheriff's department.
Oh, okay, that's their time. Oh, wow, that's good.
Because
They'll
like
be uniformed
we
then,
had,
huh?
yeah, we had, them for the, pre-K registration.
And you'll determine the number required based on the event and times?
Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb here, and if it's during the library hours where I know I'm here, I think one is sufficient, because most of our events, we're seeing, a handful of people at a time. It's longer term events, they're trickling in, like our pre-K registration, it's not slammed all at once.
Yep.
Now, when we start talking about these after-hour events, it may be different. But right now, our maximum capacity is 250. If it's a 250 person event that they're planning
You
for,
don't need,
then
more than
yeah, we're
one.
gonna need more than
because
one.
you got front and back and inside and,
So the policy used to be, you have to end by 10 and out by 11?
Mhm.
What if we did 9 and out by 10? Does that help a little bit? Not as much?
I mean, I guess so.
no, come
I'm gonna
on.
say this, and this
What
is
is-
just me.
Mhm.
I was thinking 8 was a little early.
Mhm.
However, that's a lot on you.
Yeah.
If it's possible and if it's legal,
Mhm.
I would be willing to help to stay, with some events.
And I don't think it's a legality issue. I'll have
Okay.
to just get you trained to shut it down.
Yes.
But you're
I
not
would
proposing
do it
that you're gonna be
sometime.
here during all these times, are you?
I've been at every event over here.
That's
since I got here.
why. That's why.
I think that's foolish.
Well, I understand that, but.
Are you getting paid overtime?
No,
Of course not.
no, but that's my
Well, like
job
I
is
say,
to
I'm
make sure
willing
this
to
ship
help
runs.
because we need to pull in.
Listen, by the time you're adding meeting over here,
Mhm.
you're adding to your already busy schedule.
Mhm.
And, people are gonna have lots of questions, look around, stall, stammer. And then you're gonna add on top of that,
No, and I get where you're coming from, but look over there. I got 2 people in the children's department.
I understand
I
that,
got
but we,
4 at
that
CERT.
doesn't mean that we have to continue with that. I think that's too much for
I
you.
know, and I agree, but until we're to a point where I can hire people, which is a long way down the road, there's a lot of ifs there.
You don't have anybody on staff that you could assign for
I can, but I'm taking them away from over there and we're
I'm talking about
already.
after hours.
It's a little iffy there.
Do what?
It gets a little iffy. I hear where she's coming from.
Well, my concern
Well,
is
you
you.
can pay Paul.
Yeah, we better be then.
This could get really busy once it's opened
I
up.
understand that.
Okay, you're a big girl.
As long as I can take a lunch break at some point before the event to go feed my dog, I'm fine.
Right.
Okay,
Ms. Humphrey just made the comment, what event is that?
It's one event.
One event a day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why I put that in there.
are you, like on an event on a Friday, for example, could you come in later on Friday to compensate for
I
that
mean,
time?
I'm sure I can do that. I mean,
Okay.
I mean, my time has kind of been flexed since I've been here because I've had to stay late for some things or come in earlier for some things. And I can work that out.
Okay.
I mean, I'm aware of enough of my schedule to make it work.
And I'm very comfortable, I'm not real comfortable with the timing.
Okay.
Uh,
And we can vote to, y'all can make the recommendation to
But
adjust
no,
the
not that you're
time,
gonna be
and then,
Standing
once we
out
vote,
around here, no.
with those recommendations.
To adjust the time.
Not gonna add that to your
Yeah.
schedule.
I guess, how do we want to go about approving this? Because I want to do it with an amendment for 9 to 10. That may not carry majority. Can I get a feel on that? I think you're with me. So that's one.
Or do we want to just do that a later time on a certain day of the week? Like,
Are you gonna pout if we change
Do
the
a
time?
weekend or something.
No.
right, but
Evening
the
for
other
me.
times keep them at early, but maybe.
Right,
So we could say,
Maybe push it back on a Friday and Saturday.
right,
Okay.
right.
That makes sense.
Right.
all events not held unless by 8 p.m. And we can add,
On Saturday.
Did you hear-
Saturday.
I heard somebody saying something, okay. On Monday through Thursday, they're gonna end at 8. And then we can add the next sentence to say for events on
Friday.
Friday and
Friday and
Saturday,
Saturday.
then it'll be 9 to 10. How does that sound?
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all think
And we're
that's
all in
workable?
agreement on
I
that.
trust you.
I told y'all we can't, we just have to
I
try
know.
it.
So,
And we also take into consideration too, that they're gonna be flexing hours. If you do some things,
Right.
we don't expect you to burn yourself out.
No,
Oh, I
We
know.
expect for you to be able to know to take a lead, okay?
I know.
Give and take. That's
Okay, I
what
can
we're
do it.
in for, giving and taking.
so Amy, you were saying change times?
Yes, we
Yeah.
will.
So it
Just
would read,
just
it
the
would read,
weekend, Charles,
Weekend.
just on the weekends.
it would read, all events not held by the library or its governing authority must end by 8 p.m. on Monday through Thursday to permit time for cleanup and sanitation. For events held on Friday or or Saturday, I guess, well, it wouldn't be a 2-day event.
Right, yeah, it's Friday
It's
or
a-
Saturday.
Okay, Friday or Saturday,
Friday and Saturday.
the event must end by
Now,
9 p.m.
And out by 10?
yes.
I think you could say 9 p.m. period, and then the next sentence is the building must be vacated by all parties, including caterers, no late than 9 p.m. for events Monday through Thursday, and 10 p.m. for events Friday or Saturday.
I think that's spelling it out.
All right.
Are you okay with that?
I'm perfectly fine with that.
What if they're not out?
Hmm?
What if they're not out?
Can
Well,
we
if they're
try-
not out, we start deducting from
And
their
then-
deposit.
The next sentence
That's in the
says that
policy
they'll be
already.
subject-
Yeah.
The next
nothing's
sentence
happened.
says that they'll be subject to charges if they're not.
Yeah, they have
And
to
some
pay a
will push
deposit.
that, you know that.
Yeah, they will.
Yep, I've been here for
But
it.
that's okay, no problems, if you're willing to pay.
I've gotten out of this building at 3 o'clock.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Since Marcy's comfortable with these changes, I think this is well done,
I think
good
it's well done.
information. I move we accept this and publish.
That's a first.
And I
with
say,
the
With the
recommendation.
amendment.
Okay.
Yeah.
what's that?
You think you move to accept as published, or think it's accepted
As
amended?
amended.
Yeah,
As amended.
Mhm.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, KK. Any discussions then, therefore, or other questions that we need to ask before we go ahead? All in favor? May I hear aye?
Aye.
Opposers, nay?
Who seconded? Somebody.
Who seconded it?
Sandra.
Okay, Mr. Pre- okay, I'll make sure I got that right.
Okay.
Motion carried.
And I
Thank
would
you.
like to, if you could look at it, and maybe we could, I mean, you and I could talk to me about that. I want to add something that says, the
continuation.
next
of-
proclamation or whatever. So we're not amending this every 30 days or however long this
Look, I agree
proclamation
with,
is.
I agree with you.
And you know, it's always the case we could go backwards, so I agree. That's,
That's true.
she needs an authority to project what
Yeah.
may be.
Can't do it.
No, we did it once.
Mercy, you did a good job on
They
this.
change the phases too, like sometimes the mask mandate is
Is, yeah,
100%, some, you know, each phase keeps changing every single time they do it, so you can't just set one standard.
all right.
Well, thank you for doing an excellent job on this, and I really appreciate this in view of the fact too, we know that this event center has been the focus for the public.
Right.
So us coming out with this and letting people know that we hear you, we're trying to do something about it, and these are the results that we come up with. So we really, really appreciate you, and I'm sure you're meeting with the building, people with the building too? Okay, in terms of getting that in,
Well,
excellent.
the staff will be made aware that this passed first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay,
So we will get marketing put out there that the study rooms are open, the event center is now available for public booking within new policy guidelines. So at that point, I'm sure we'll start seeing an influx of requests. I can also send an email to all the liaison committees to make them aware of the recent change.
that'll be excellent.
What date is your first event?
Question,
Yes,
are we
As soon as I get one request, we'll go from there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
limited,
as of tomorrow, as of you approved it.
limited funding, of course, but are we allowed to put an ad in the paper?
I mean,
Not with our money, is it?
I don't know, are we allowed with our money?
No, I'm thinking about maybe through friends.
yeah, I
or
mean, we can
something.
pay for marketing, yeah, that's, we can do
I
that.
think
You're certainly allowed to.
Event center, we can't
Well,
advertise.
It's whether you're gonna pay
I'm
for it.
saying something to you.
You know,
Caleb,
word
what's
of
the-
mouth
what's
is
the thought,
one thing.
Caleb?
But I
You're
think
certainly
we
allowed
need
to.
Yeah.
I think we need a public announcement, despite all that our young cub reporter here is going to do for us.
Right,
I think we need something big
okay.
to get
I'll-
attention.
I'll get pricing then.
And then we have another local, I don't know who's the contact there besides Scotty, Boatwright. You know, we have a website, we have a, what do you call it now? The
Lincoln Parish Journal.
Lincoln Parish News, yeah. And it could be included in that also. I don't know if they charge for that. I don't know much
I
about it.
send them, I send them the agendas in a minute. so.
And we can also put it up on our webpage
Yeah,
to let folks know
We also
that
put
this
it
is,
on the sign.
On
yes.
the sign.
Sign.
she's already
Always.
working on the thing for the
Center
sign,
open.
we just haven't, we haven't launched it yet because we're waiting on, it. So it'll be in there.
Well, we're off to a good start, and we're running fast, as Caleb says it. Thank you, Caleb.
People are wanting this. We
I
need
know.
to tell them. We got it. Come on, baby.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes,
So you guys are
Take
planning
your
to,
mask off so
sorry.
I can read your lips.
You guys are planning to add verbiage to what was just adopted that says that as the proclamation changes,
Yes.
so will the,
Yes.
can you add that verbiage without this board actually voting on it?
Well, we can re-vote on it. I mean, I just assumed that that might take me longer than
Yeah, it's gonna
sitting here
take
and going
us-
over it
yeah.
and thinking about how to word that. Like, I know it's not gonna expire right now. I don't know when does this one expire, do we know?
May 5th.
But why don't we have the authority to say the director can alter these based
I think
on?
May 15th is when he's gonna readdress,
April,
or
May.
well, no, it ends May 15th, so he'll probably address on Monday, the 17th. We have our board meeting on the 19th.
Why does she not have the authority, he or she, for future, the director have the authority to make these as these conditions are altered based on those people that are in authority?
That could be considered a little vague. I mean,
It
I
could be
don't
considered
think
vague.
I don't think she's gonna go do anything crazy, but,
I'm concerned when you get into that kind of, having set in stone policies protects the library, it protects our patrons, and it protects me.
Well, what I'm talking about is numbers only.
I know,
You would alter based on
yeah,
the latest declaration, up or down. Okay,
Policy subject to change.
I understand, but I think we should, you have a title. You should be trusted with that title to make decisions.
We do trust our Charles, but I think also I'm hearing, Marcy said, in fairness for everybody involved, we're looking to protect us too.
Oh, not discounting that at all, but we're talking about, like Amy's saying, when these
Well, I mean,
things
we can
are
come up
fluid,
with,
or otherwise, we will just keep meeting at this point, but we'll keep meeting.
Let's see, let me see when this one,
meet already, huh?
So I have a motion.
May is right around the corner, right?
I have a motion on the floor to accept with changes. Did you second?
we've already.
That's been voted on.
Everybody voted?
Yeah.
Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
So we would have to then redo the.
We'll have to redo.
I
Well,
move
I
we
think that
adjourn.
my only concern is that if, I don't know when the, I don't know when
Governors.
this expires.
We don't know. And that's
Well, I
the
think
thing
he intends to readdress after the
And I mean, it's good. I
15th.
mean,
15th is sticking in my mind.
We're meeting on the 19th.
The 19th, which is that 2 days later. 3 days later.
I think we will be okay. What do you think?
I think we'll be fine.
Okay. I mean, if somebody books an event on that Tuesday between us meeting and that change, you let me know.
Well,
And
and I mean-
we'll call a special meeting and we'll have to revise.
Yeah.
trust us.
Yeah.
Trust us. We're gonna get through this. Okay, may I ask Amy to do one or two things to, just kind of like, since she's been giving us updates on what's happening in the library, if you don't mind.
Amy?
What?
Marcy?
Oh.
Okay.
I'm gonna listen to Amy.
I'm sorry, Amy. I've been calling Amy all in my mind, thinking about Amy. I'm sorry, Marcy.
The main thing right now is we're prepping for summer reading. Like I mentioned earlier, you're gonna notice some of our programming is changing face a little bit. We're doing a lot more community cooperatives, and that's gonna follow through with summer reading. I've been reaching out to several civic organizations, and we are finding that they are willing to come in and to help us stuff bags for summer reading, because right now we're looking at 150 craft bags per week, not counting the Boys and Girls Club, who we've also committed to recently. So that's like another 200. So we are getting groups that are willing to come in, who are making time to come in as a volunteer basis, as an organization for their community hours and help the library out. So those communications have been opened with several organizations. There's more on the list to be called, but we're off to a good start.
Have the Friends of the Library met recently? Did you
I
know?
don't know if they've met recently or not, but I do know the Friends of the Library is tentatively trying to put together a book sale for the end of May. So they have not given me an official date.
What area do you know?
It'll probably be in the Ruston room, because that's the most spread out location. They are looking, not the last weekend, because that's Memorial Day weekend, and logically people will be out of town, but one of those 2 weekends prior. They haven't committed to a specific date yet.
I'm a member, but I haven't heard any
Haven't heard?
communication from them.
Okay, all right, well, I'll get in touch with Jay.
I'm
and see
just
what's
curious.
going on.
The book sale is really the biggie thing anyway.
It is, and right now, we're running out of space in the back from the donations that have been coming in as everyone cleans out their closet.
And that's a tough job, y'all. That book sale
That's
is a lot of hard work, setting up, taking
Yeah.
down.
And I intend to get in touch with Jay.
And we're all gonna volunteer to assist, right?
But last year we had some
Yes,
good, last time we had
yes.
some good volunteers.
Well, and since we're already in conversation with some other organizations, it may be that they need some more civic hours, and I can get them in touch with Jay about that as well.
Who were the-
Slinging books is not easy.
Last time we had from the P Farm volunteer.
Yeah, I think it was.
And they were good. There was a lot of help. It was great.
I tell you what, farm people would be the one, because they're the ones slinging 50-pound bags of feed and hay bales. That's some
And
stout
listen, they were
work.
slinging those boxes that I couldn't sling anymore.
Okay.
You got appointed to the board. Was there a new?
No, I got taken.
Okay.
I'd also like to say, I'm gonna call you Amy. Oh, John, oh, wait, you're in my mind. Marcy, someone called me to tell me that they loved the idea that we were giving out goodie bags in the library. Did y'all hear about the goodie bags?
The craft bags? Like, I There was grab bags for the kids.
Well, the bank, which bank or something?
Oh, Century Next Bank, in honor of National Librarians Day, put together some little goodie bags for the staff, and they came by and dropped them off last Friday?
Yes.
Last Friday. It was Jessica Slaughter who dropped them off. And then, in fact, Jessica and Lori partnered with us recently on a program, so that'll be launching soon. But they did it to kind of let the staff know that, hey, we see you, we know you're working really, really hard, and we appreciate you. So, and they had some very nice handwritten notes in there.
Well, I tell you, it was a hit with folks calling me, thanking me. I told them, I thank you, but thank you too, to let you know that things like that will get noticed, and people will have to tell us what it is that we're doing. I saw it somewhere else. Was it on Instagram or somewhere?
I don't know.
I-
I'm not on
Yeah.
Instagram. It's been
was
on Facebook though.
somewhere. I
Some of
saw
them
it.
Facebook.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
we got some good friends out in the community.
Okay.
We do.
For the,
A lot of
good-
good ones.
for the good of the cause, we're gonna go around. Charles, give me your 10 cents worth for today.
You
Do
what?
say again?
For the good of the cause, we're going around. Give me your 10 cents worth for today's meeting.
Say it again?
You need to-
Use your microphone.
I got the microphone.
Give her the microphone. I would discuss this every meeting.
Thank you.
I'll buy
I
you
was
one
just
of those
saying
forms.
that I thought I would just give each person on the board an opportunity to put in his or her 2 cents worth, but I gave you 10 cents rather than 2.
Well, you know, I generally require 3 cents worth of time. And I'm very pleased. I like the direction we're going in. I think the people are the employees are very pleased because they're getting good information. There's no secrets. There's nothing being hidden from them. There's good communication with them, with Marcy, with the board. I think all that's been opened up, and I think it's the secret to success. 3 cents over.
Thank you so very much. 7 cents backward. Ms. Humphries?
Marcy, I appreciate your hard work on these policies. Appreciate all that you, I like the direction that we're headed. And thank you.
Amy?
Yeah, thank you, Marcy. This has been big. I like where we're going with the event center. You know, I think I want to still look at those little changes there, and see how it goes. I'm glad that we're getting to open it back up, even if we are a guinea pig. And I'm psyched, y'all, about the millage election. I'm glad that we got like down to I think a really good number. I don't know if y'all heard any feedback from the public. I personally haven't. I don't know if people are happy with that or excited about it, but I mean, we did some work to cut that thing down and make some tough decisions and really figure out what do we need and you know the best way to use taxpayers' dollars. And I hope that the public sees that. I hope that they show up and tell us that on October 9th. And I can't wait to do some more canvassing and work on this to get out there and get people to vote because I'm psyched about it. So that was probably like 11 cents worth.
Okay, thank you. Sandra?
Marcy, I think you're doing an awesome job. And I do love the millage that we came up with, that you all worked so hard on. And I just think we are headed in the right direction at this time.
Mary Jo?
I love the community participation that you're matching up in the children's department, because I think that more people that come in and see the good things that are happening and the services that are being provided and the enthusiasm and the strength of the programs, that we will get our message out that we're important to the community.
Jan?
Okay, Marcy, you know, I appreciate you, and not only Marcy, but everyone on the board, the time and effort that we're all putting in. And I think the public is aware of that, and that's a good sign. We all want it to work, and I think we're headed in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Richard Fury is out tonight, but I'm going to ask his side partner if he wants to speak for him. Milton?
Well, first of all, good evening to everyone. I think you've had a very productive meeting, and I won't stand here bumping my gums. I know you ladies and gentlemen have other things to do But I think the library is moving in a good position. And hopefully we spread the word and we can make everybody feel comfortable with this millage, and we'll stay in business. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, I would just like to say thank you for your leadership and your service, Marcy. And I'd like to say thank you too to the board members who have been so receptive. When I call, you answer, even if you do give me 7 cents worth of comment. 7 to 12, 7 to 11. But I think we're moving in the right direction. I can feel it. I think we've come up with some waters that have been far blown away, and I think at the point that we are now, we're going to see the end of it when it comes along on October 9th and beyond. So with that, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Dr. Clark, one more thing, and this is really quick. I just think it's awesome that we pretty much inviting the public to be involved in everything. I think that means so much to them.
They have said that. They have said they felt it.
Now,
Everything transparent.
I move that we adjourn.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I'm telling you, all in favor, aye. All opposed, nay. Meeting is adjourned.